Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. This is going to be a guide video how you should be positioning your projector if you don't have an ALR screen. And don't get me wrong, if you don't have a budget, you might not be able to buy an ALR screen, but there is a big reason, an important reason I teach nearly all in my videos. You might want an ALR screen instead of a much better and expensive projector compared to an ALR with a cheaper or second-hand projector. Let me explain why. People always focus with ambient light rejection screen. There should be an ambient light. Right now, the only light is coming from that video light, and I'm going to close it for you to make it clear. In the beginning, I just want you to see me. Right now, the ambient lights are closed, okay? And I'm going to show you by returning this camera around the room. So there is no room light, okay? And as you can see, I'm going to return here. I am here. Hello. So the bouncing backlight, this is the TV, top of the TV, and there's a big white wall, as you can see. So light goes from that wall to the screen back. And what I'm going to show you is also important on the ceiling. So I'm going to go in the front. What happens is, right now, the distance between the left wall and the screen is about 40 centimeters. And the distance between the ceiling and the top of the picture is about 20 centimeters. So it's just less than a palm of my hand. So basically what happens is light goes from here, from the projector. This is the ViewSonic X2 4K, and the signal is 4K from Realme 4K dongle. And the bouncing backlight goes back again, kills the contrast. So how do you place your projector to at least get around this, find yourself a solution? Well, you get a couple of options. If you want to create contrast, you got to go small. That way you're going to increase the light and of course the contrast. You can push the menu to push the contrast. That's another factor. But we're going to be focusing, instead of a software solutions or trying to play out with your projector, we're going to be trying to solving a light problem like a studio photographers do. This is my profession. So what I'm going to do is trying to reduce the bouncing light. How am I going to do that? I'm going to get the image low as I can. So that way it will be far away from the ceiling and you're going to see the difference in this section. So I'm going to stop this video. Okay. So this is probably a bad example because the top of the picture is white and bottom is not as white as the top part. So that way the top is white and it creates more white, and that white light bounces back. This contrast loss happens most of the time big scenes with a bright images. So if you're watching animations, cartoons like a bright punchy colors, you're going to probably witness this sort of problem. So that's why there is a menu. Let me just show you. This is the light. This is dynamic black 1, by the way. So it's not in the echo mode. This device can increase the picture quality, but what I'm going to do, if you haven't watched my videos, I have a secret projector screen, okay, behind my 120-inch projector. So I'm going to push this couch a little bit, see if it will fit here. So there's a kind of like a gap, a lot of stuff around. Sorry for that. So I gotta solve this. So normally I use all the time, at least if it's going to be a fast movie watching scene. Yeah, camera is going to move a little bit. Yeah, I gotta move the couch. For you guys, just for you, I gotta move the couch. So once you move the couch, you got a space. As you can see, normally I don't open up all the time ALR screen because for me, sometimes this white is practical, but it's not good as the ALR. It's just practical. You should always have an ALR, and I will hopefully create one. So I drop down my screen, okay. Look for the top and the contrast. There is no CGI here. I'm just going to drop the projector down. And here we go. As you can see, the ceiling bouncing back effect is gone. Of course, I need to adjust this keystone to correct the image in a way that I need it. So I'm going to hit back, and I'm going to zoom out a bit, and that way also I am getting rid of the keystone effect that I probably had to do because I was firing upwards because of the seats. So as you can see, I've already created a lot less bouncing backlight from the ceiling. Right now the distance is at least tripled. So triple you go, probably, I'm not going to say it basically 8 times, 3 times of 2, less light, but probably it is less than half. That's obvious because we got 3 times space, at least 6 times less light. For me, around 8 times less light, but you got to measure that up. So that is reducing the top reflected light. What you can do is also zoom and smaller your image and take a look at this. Contrast is not going to be just brightness increase, but there will be contrast increase. Okay, I'm going to zoom in and punch it all in and focus again. So smaller we go, of course this side of the wall is reflecting less light. So we can also push the projector to the left because we don't have a reflected wall on the right. Sorry, this way onto the right. So that way it will increase. Let me just tell you again, play the video. So we can clearly see we got a contrast increase. And what I'm going to do is another thing, and we are trying this in the real time. It's not exact science. And I'm going to push the projector, okay, and bounce back lights are extremely reduced. Look at the ceiling, look at the sides. So next time you got to calculate your room, you got to calculate your side walls and how much reflection you got. But what I'm going to do is zoom out again, okay, and get the bigger picture. I'm going to tell you why. Look how much, at least go back to the last scene. I'm going to explain why this happens. Just wait a while. I'm going to open up a bright scene again. So that exact, I'm looking for that exact up high bright kind of scene to tell you the story behind this video. And I'm going to stop it, hopefully, in a place that I want it. So what happens? This projector is a short throw projector and it's like a fisheye lens. Let me just get a little bit closer for you. And okay, so what happens is, actually, let me just return the camera a little bit to me because it's a wide angle and it's just, let's just take this lens, it's better. So what happened was, this lens is a kind of like a fisheye wide angle and it just spreads the lights around. And when you make the projector higher with the keystone effect, you're actually sending some of the light, but digitally killing the actual pixels to reduce the image size and skew it with the keystoning effect. And I explained it in my other videos. Don't use keystone if you don't have to, if your scenario allows. Don't project from side angles. There's an optical reason for that. So what happened was, I pushed the projector forward and I made it wide angle. Instead of a first time, it was just shorter angle and image gets smaller of course, but when I increase the size, the amount of light goes around the sideways reduced because I wasn't using the keystone. I was just optically directly push the image wherever I want. That way you can reduce maybe 5 to 10% more. These are just small little things that you can do. It's like adding a hood to a camera lens. If you add a hood, you just pretend the side angles light leaks. Let me just show you in an example. If I return the camera this way, there's a video light, okay? And right now, there is a light leak right about here, around the corner. Do you see it? Let me just use my hand, okay? I'm going to put my hand to the side that you don't see the most, but it will create a contrast. Do you understand? Onto the left. That is kind of like the hood effect. So if you can block the side lights, you can increase the contrast. Take a look at this. I'm putting my hand, okay, in front of the visual a little bit, but look at the wall behind it. There's a big quality difference. So that's kind of like what happens. So if you got a big lens of your projector, if you got, instead of a forward, if you have to go backward and then project it with a narrower angle, for optical reasons you can have sort of like a distortion, or if you use too much of a keystone, you will actually sending light and trying to reduce it with digitally, but you will have kind of like a ghosting effect. I hope I can explain, I could have explained it. So when I kill the video light here, okay, right now the room has no ambient light, and I'm going to hit play. This image is about 110, I guess, because right now the normal picture size is, screen is 135. I will hold it back, okay, and it is about 135 right now. Let me just push it back a little bit. And this is a 135-inch image. I hope this video was useful for you. It's not explaining every bit of science behind it, and there will be other tutorials, and you can go back and watch my ALR screen videos. If you don't have an ALR, you can't really figure out a way for bouncing lights. There is not much of a thing that you can do, except from all that I showed you in this single video. You can push your projector back and forth. You can use like a hood style light leaks, maybe cancellation tips, or pipes in front of your optical element, but that will also can be creating a shadow. And one other thing, you look for better optical element. This is the cheapest screen that I made it personally. This is just a sun blocker, not a projector screen. But actually, if you got a good projector, you can get a way better picture. So you can think of it like a white wall. Good paint, at least flat white wall, not best glossy painted style. But in my early videos, I showed you high gain screens, and they really have some optical elements, like their surface is really helping the picture to get better sharpness and better contrast. But of course, the higher gain you got, whiter you go, you got more reflections from ceiling, from bouncing back from the ground, and also for the sidewalls. One last thing that you can do is, of course, not the screen. It will be not free. All of I showed you in this video was free, okay? These were the parts where the free solutions could have gone. The last solution is covering up the walls somehow or painting them in a dark color, and that is the costly part. What you could do is you can paint the walls darker grays, reduce the reflections. I'm not saying black like cinemas, because when you do black, the room will be like a pretty bad feeling in it without opening up movies. And if you don't have too much of a windows, well, it will look awful in my taste. So I suggest get yourself a railing system around the room, okay? Like a curtain rail systems. What you can do is think of it like a curtain rail system behind this screen. Let me just show you. Think of it like this curtain style, okay? You rail it, you push it forward and backward. Like a cinema red curtain opens and you watch the movie, kind of like, or theater curtain style. You find yourself a dark colored, not color casting style, anthracite, black, or darker color curtains around the room, and that way you will be able to use them when you are going to watch movies, and it will also reduce the bouncing back audio reverb effect in the room, and also create some sort of a sound isolation. If you find cheap probably material to do so, you can maybe DIY that, but you gotta have the rails around the room, and when you close the curtains, that might be cool looking, but when you open them up, rails will be showed. So you gotta hide the rails, you gotta install the rails, you gotta find some sort of a fabric to do so. It needs to be a little bit heavier for audio cancellation, or reducing the bouncing back effects for audio, but it needs to be just a darker color for just to reduce the reflections. So you got to apply this solution two ways, both for reducing the audio that goes out from your cinema setup for the cheapest probably audio cancellation solution, and movable, adjustable one. And the other one, it will look kind of like cool because it'll really gives the cinema feeling if you also do it in front of the screen, like you open them up and goes to the side, and it might help the ambient, I guess. Let me know what you think under the comment section below. If I skipped any topic that how you can increase the contrast with a white screen. But if you haven't watched my ALR videos, go back and definitely check, because I have an ALR screen at the bottom. Okay, and when you open up the ALR, the picture is really shining. So there is no way that you can achieve the ALR screen and the projector combination without an ALR. And people think, still some people think that if they buy triple laser, maybe highest of brightness level of projector with a 5 million to 1 contrast, extreme contrast ratios in a dynamic mode, they will not get the blacks because the bouncing lights probably will kill some of the blacks. It's not just about ambient light, it's about also bouncing backlight. At least if you're going above 100-inch sizes, because when you go big, well, if you're not living in a big mansion, like with a 5 or 6 meter height of ceiling, like me, I got a 350, well, you get close to the ceilings and the walls. So it's, of course, your home, your solution. Let me know what you think under the comment section below. If you have any recommendations or questions, ask below in the comment section. That might become a tutorial. And I will be showing you, by closing the lights, this 135-inch image. And if you're wondering how I built this secret projector screen that I can remove it completely and nobody sees it unless I drop it down, go back, watch my tutorials. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype the videos. Support the channel. I'm shooting all the videos late at night. Until the next video, hoşça kalın from Turkey, and until the next video, bye from home cinema and tech review. This is much closer of what I see, but when it comes down to the kind of like auto exposure to show you the room to the rest of the picture, but still, I think you get the idea. The image is very, very sharp, crisp and clear, and I'm watching where you're looking right now. This is my eye level when I sit onto the couch. And still I can't show you what I see, but this is as close as it can be. And the wide angle distortion is happening because of the lens. Hope to see you in the next video, home cinema and tech review. And bye.